All right. So we're solving quadratic equations by factoring. We're going to use the zero product property, which says if A times B, so two numbers, I'm using A and B. If A times B equals 0, then A equals 0 or B equals 0. Okay. Now, so does that make sense? If you're multiplying two numbers together and the answer is 0, then one of those numbers, those factors, has to be 0. That's what we're going to use. Okay. Now the steps for solving. Set the equation equal to 0 if necessary. We can't solve unless we have the property ready to be used. We're going to then factor the expression. One side is 0, the other side is an algebraic expression. We're going to factor that expression. And then we're going to set each factor. I forgot, I should have 2 lines here. Each factor equal to 0. And you'll have 2 equations or however many equations and then solve those equations. All right? So I got 2 examples here. X squared minus 6x plus 8 equals 0. We're going to set the equation equal to 0 if necessary. It's not necessary because it's already there. Okay? We are going to factor this expression. All right, help me out here. What do we fill in? Blank times blank is 8. Blank plus blank is negative 6. Neil. Okay, negative 2 times negative 4 is positive 8, and you needed them to both be negative because this term, this middle, was negative. All right. I'm going to use that to split up the negative 6x. So x squared minus 2x minus 4x plus 8 equals 0. All right. So now we can factor by grouping the GCF of x squared and 2x. Are you with me with x there? And then x times x is x squared, and negative 2 times x, that gives me the negative 2x. Whenever this one's negative, I'm going to use a negative here. So negative 4x and 8, I'm going to use negative 4 because 4 goes into 8. Negative 4x, and then negative 4 times positive 2 is not positive 8. Negative 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. And put that equals 0 there. I'm going to finish factoring. Remember, the GCFs go together. The x minus the 4 and the x minus 2 is the common part, equals 0. And now set each factor. Here's a factor. X minus 4 is a factor. X minus 2 is a factor. Set each factor equal to 0 and solve. I've got 2 equations. X minus 4 equals 0. I put the word or in between. X minus 2 equals 0. Let's add 4 to both sides. I have x equals 4. Let's add 2 to both sides. And I get x equals 2. X equals 4 or x equals 2. Now, I'm just going to show you, let's just show that these will both work. If I plug 4 in for x here and here, I should get 0 after the calculating. So 4 squared minus 6 times 4 plus 8. That is 16 minus 24 plus 8. And that is negative 8 plus 8, which is 0. And that's what we wanted, right? We wanted a number that when you put it in for x and do this calculation, you'll get 0. Okay, let's do the same with 2. 2 squared minus 6 times 2 plus 8, that is 4, minus 12 plus 8, that's negative 8 again, plus 8, which is 0. So this just shows that 2 works and 4 works. All right, any questions? All right. Number 2 here. Set the equation equal to 0 if necessary. It is necessary here. I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides of the equation. Now I have 3r squared. The 12 doesn't have an r on it, so it's going to be written out here by itself. It's not a like term with 3r squared or negative 16r. Okay. Now 12 times 3 is 36. Now it's 3 times negative 12, so it's negative 36. I need 2 numbers that are going to multiply to negative 36 and add to negative 16. Okay. It's going to be negative. So I'm just thinking of things like 6 times 6, but that's not going to work. 18 times 2. That looks like it's got possibilities here. And let's make the 18 negative, and then it multiplies to be negative, and negative 18 plus 2 is negative 16. All right, so that's how we're going to split up. So 3r squared minus 18r plus 2r minus 12 equals 0. All right, GCF, 3r, by seeing that, 3r, and then that's r, and then minus 6. GCF here of 2, and that's r minus 6 there, equals 0. So 3r plus 2 is the GCFs. R minus 6 is the common factor, equals 0. We solve 3r plus 2 equals 0, and we solve r minus 6 equals 0. I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. I'll have 3r equals negative 2. I'm going to divide by 3, and I'll have r equals negative 2/3. There's one answer. I will add 6 to both sides. R equals 6, and there's the other answer. So it has 2 solutions as well. This one does. All right.